Hi there. As you can see, we're already in the plane, ready to go. We're not wasting any time. Here's what happened. In the Cessna 172 Checkride prep for IFR that I did last week, and thank you for tuning into that, I made a mistake. I made a mistake on the departure from Tacoma Narrows. If you remember, I went out 17 and just kind of went blah straight until I was vectored. That's not correct for several reasons. One, I didn't use the recommended obstacle departure procedure. Once I wasn't given the SID, the Narrows 1 Standard Instrument Departure, I think I kind of just locked up. I really should have looked at the ODP, the Published Obstacle Departure Procedure, and flown that. Failing that, the conditions were VMC, which means I was responsible for see and avoid as well as my own obstacle clearance up until the minimum vectoring altitudes, which we don't really know, but are somewhere around 2,000. But if I can guarantee my own obstacle avoidance, I can turn once I'm 400 feet above the departure end of the runway. And I didn't do that either. So we're going to fix this today. Let's go ahead and get started. Alright. Performance mode is up. Okay, so I've got my tablet here. I'm already prepped to fly the Tacoma Narrows to Zolgi to do the RNAV runway 02 at Bremerton. It's just a one-shot, easy to do, and we're not using Pilot Edge today either. They're closed for Thanksgiving, so we're just going to simulate what they would have said. Let's assume I filed for 4,000 feet, and I've already got that prepped up here. 4,000 feet, and if we look over here in the MFD, I'll go ahead and put that in flight plan mode and range out a little bit. It's KTIW to Zolgi, right? And then that starts the procedure turn runway 02. I already know the weather at Bremerton is 02. It's gusting a little bit hard there, but it's gusting at 030, so it should be okay. Again, Pilot Edge is closed. We're only simulating this IFR, but we're going to get to it. So let me show you what we missed, what I missed, and what we should have done. Show on map, procedure, departure. So the Narrows 1, which is the published standard instrument departure, which has a graphical look. Like, that's what I asked for, but I didn't get it. Again, what I should have done was I should have looked at the takeoff minimums, and I should have looked for departure procedure. There it is right there. So if you don't have a SID, you can use the ODP, the obstacle departure procedure. Today the wind's coming from the north, so we're going to fly runway 35. Let's read. Turn left, climb via heading 270 to intercept the SEA R230, then direct Caro intersection. Continue climb and holding. Southwest, right turns 047 degrees inbound to MEA or assigned altitude for route of flight. Okay. Okay. So we'll take off, turn left, when? 400 feet above the departure end of the runway. The departure end of the runway, the elevation is 29 or 5. So we can turn at 700 feet on the barometric there. Let me see if we learn anything about... No. Runway, info, AFD. I'm wondering if departure end of the runway is actually... 29 or 5. I'm gonna take a note here. Try to remember, how do you find out the height at the departure end of the runway? Maybe it's somewhere here in the AFD. Anyway, we're going to follow this exactly as it says. Now the trick is, the SEA VOR is actually offline today, which isn't great. It's been offline for a little while, but in the sim, let's see if it actually works. 116.8. Yep, it works. So I'm going to go ahead and hit CDI, and we'll go ahead to VOR1. I'll tune the course knob to, what did we say it was? Not that plate. This plate, R230. There you go. So we're going to intercept the R230 and then direct Cairo intersection. So what I'll do is the nearest, and we'll figure nearest intersection, and we'll fly for that. If that doesn't work, I'll just type Cairo in. Why not? Okay, climb via heading 270. So we're going to take off, hold runway heading, and then climb turn 270 until we intercept Cairo, and then intercept CR230, then direct Cairo intersection. And we'll continue a climb and hold. We'll see if we have to do that. We have a pretty good takeoff gradient. I don't think we're going to need it, but anyway, let's rock and roll. And then, at that point, I'll simulate what ATC says to me. You know, well, they'll probably tell me to go direct, or I'll tell them what I want. But again, we're going to be playing the role of ATC today. Okay, flaps are up, mixture is rich, lights are as required. We're squawking 1200 because it's VFR operation today. All right, full static pressure. Let's get out of here. To the left, rudder. And engine instruments are in the green, airspeed's live, 55, rotate. Gear up, right rudder. And we're going to hold that runway heading. Again, we're looking for 700 MSL because that's 400 feet off the departure end of the runway. Okay, and we're going to pitch for 74 knots. Making that good climb. Okay, 100 feet to go until we make that turn. Okay, there's 700. We're going to keep climbing left turn 270. And we're going to do a standard rate turn. I'm kind of assuming that we can't see. I'm assuming that we're in the clouds, right? Okay, I'm going to go ahead, just a little bit of up trim, trying to aim for that 74 knots. Trying to do a standard rate turn here. 15 degrees to go until we hit 270. Okay, we're going to even that turn out. Alright, we're continuing the climb, trying to climb for 74 knots. 1,200 feet, watching for the CDI to start to deflect. At this point, I want to go ahead and do nearest. Not nearest airport, so I'm going to have to go over here. Flight plan off, FMS, nearest intersections. Okay, still looking. Oh boy, that didn't work. Oh, we got to get back on 270, continuing climb. Alright, so what we're going to do instead is we're going to go, okay, there's 270, continue climb. Climbing for 74, nice and easy, climbing for 74, direct to, I'm going to go ahead and type C-A-R-R-O, Cairo. And it says activate, yes. Okay, we're direct Cairo, but not yet. Okay, we're climbing a little bit steep. We're climbing at 7, we want to climb at 74, that's VY. Hold that 270. We'll go ahead and get some help from our autopilot here. We'll go IIS mode, heading mode engaged. AP is on, 4000 is bugged. Yeah, I'm not going to call anybody. We're not doing any ATC, not doing anything like that. Okay, now Cairo is about 7.5 miles away. You can, or 8.8 miles away, excuse me. I was using range rings. 8.8 miles away. Realizing I'm not using my what's it. You're not going to see a GPS dot. We're going to have to go without that. We're just going to use the MFD here. Let's go ahead and clear out. Get back to the map, and we'll get back to flight plan mode. Again, we're going to be trying to intercept the SEA 270 until that's lined up. Climb at 4,000, 500 feet to go to 4,000 feet. Heading 270. Make sure that's right. Climb via heading 270 to intercept Seattle R230. Yes, there. Yes, that's Seattle. 300 feet to go. I just kind of wonder. 230. Oh, look at that. It pretty much points right at Zolji. funny. We will know we'll get there. There's 4,000. Okay, we're gonna actually even out here, so there's no need for a hold because there's a climb and hold if you're at Caro, but if you're not there, let me try that again. Climb and hold at Caro if you're not at 4,000 yet. I just saw the CDI start to deflect, so that's good. Yep, it's coming in here. Now see, at this point, if we hadn't received anything from ATC, we're still doing the right thing. We're on an obstacle departure procedure. We're in the end. We're getting to the en route environment. ATC has all the time they want to do this. Okay, we're going to go ahead, pitch power and trim. Power back to 2400. And we're at 4,000. We're pitched. We're trimmed out on the autopilot. We're all set. We're going to go engine. Lean. And we'll go ahead and lean that mixture out. Watch that fuel flow come down. 8.3. Okay, there we go. And just a little bit more throttle. Okay, that CDI is starting to come in. So what we're going to do, as soon as the CDI lines up, then we're going to go ahead and go direct Caro. So we're going to hit the direct 2 button. It's going to show Caro right there. We'll reactivate it, and then we'll fly Caro, and then I'll go ahead and simulate. I'll simulate departure talking to me. The first thing I'll do is switch me to approach. Okay, so how did that look? Turn left. So we turned at 400 feet past the departure end of the runway, went directly heading 270, right, went out at 270. We dialed course 230 on the SCE VOR. We're watching the CDI come in. When it comes in, we go direct Caro. That is it. Continue climbing right turns to MEA or assigned altitude for route of flight. And at that point, if we hit Caro and we haven't been given any other clearance, then we would go onto the route that we'd been assigned. So if we were direct KPWT and we hit Caro and we had made an approach request, if we hadn't done anything else, then we would fly to KPWT airport as if we were going to cross right over, because that's our clearance limit. Then we would be on the phone trying to figure out what our next clearance is. But as we're flying this obstacle departure procedure, we can fly the entire ODP and then continue with our route. And one of the reasons that's great is because ATC, it's very predictable. It's published. ATC likes predictability, so you're doing what they would expect you to do. Even if you lost comms, you're doing what they would expect you to do. So that's very good. That was better than what we did with 17, just go in a straight line forever and hope they give us vectors. That wasn't cool. Don't do that. Okay, so the CDI is lining up here, and you can see we're actually pointing right at Caro. It's almost a no-op. I'm not going to press direct Caro. What I am going to do is I'm going to simulate November 6378 Mike Seattle approach, say approach request. Roger, we'd like the RNAV GPS runway 2 into Bremerton for 6378 Mike. Roger, you can expect that. (6378 Mike, proceed direct Zolgi. Proceed direct Zolgi, 6378 Mike. I'll go ahead and hit there, Zolgi direct, and we'll go CDI to GPS. Make sure it shows Zolgi up top. It does. I'll go ahead and hit nav mode. We'll turn direct Zolgi. (6378 Mike, Seattle approach, cross Zolgi at 4,000, clear the RNAV runway 2 into Bremerton. Cross Zolgi at 4,000, clear the RNAV runway 2 into Bremerton Airport, 6378 Mike. Cool. See, we just got cleared. We're going to fly Zolgi. At this point, we're 2 miles from Zolgi. I'm going to go ahead and bring that throttle back. We're going to bring the throttle back to 90 knots to fly the approach, and I'm going to go ahead and hit proc. I'm going to hit activate approach. Okay, the approach is active. Let's verify by looking at our flight plan. It's Zolgi and then CBOD runway 2. And missed approach is 1,200 feet, then Zolgi, and hold at Zolgi. Okay, and this requires that we fly a procedure turn. And you can see here what it's prescribed for us in the procedure turn. Okay, let's give it a little bit more RPM there, buddy. What it's prescribed for us here in the procedure turn looks like a teardrop entry, so it'll be a left turn and then a right turn back inbound. That's a hold and loop procedure turn. So, all right, there we go. Let's figure out when we're going to descend. So we're going to stay at 4,000 feet until we hit Zolji coming back the other way. We can descend down to 2,100 on our way to CBOD, so I'll go ahead and fix that up. Okay, we're 2,100. Let's go ahead and set our minimums. We're going to use the LPV, decision altitude approach. Okay, there comes that left turn on Zolji. So go ahead and hit timer ref. We're going to go ahead and scroll down to minimums. We're going to hit minimums equals barrow, and we're going to set that for 780 because we can't put 772 in here. So we're going to be conservative and put the higher altitude, right? It's not 770, it's 772, so we're going to put 780. Okay, 780. All set there. Minimums are set. We'll go ahead and dial in ASOS and make sure we have the weather. And we're just about ready to make that right turn. 1900 Zulu, wind 006 at 10, visibility 10, sky condition few clouds at 2,100 feet, few clouds at 5,000 feet. Okay, here comes that right turn back around. We're going to be inbound Zolji. Altimeter 3042. Alright, we got the weather at Bremerton. I'll go ahead and dial up CTAF at Bremerton. It's going to be 12305. Okay, and of course we'd still be on with departure. I'll go ahead and pre-bug 12305. We can listen in on that real quick. Making sure that we know what's going on in the vicinity of Bremerton Airport. We're going to slow down a little bit, 95. We're going to slow down to 90 knots. It's going to be RPM 2100. Let's go ahead and back off. Let's go ahead and back off this engine back. Okay, that's good. Let's take a look at our figures here. Fuel flow, pressure, temperature are good. VAC's good. Plenty of fuel. We got about half, so we took off with about half fuel. Not great, but it was a short flight. 28 volts in the battery. We're healthy there. Everything's good here. No enunciators. Everything feels good. We'll do our floor to door checks, both in. Mixture's lean, so as we descend, we're going to go rich on that. Flaps are up as expected. Lights are required for landing. Master's on, standby's on, keys are in both, and we already know what we got, about a third fuel. Alright, before landing checks are complete, we're ready for this next phase of flight. And we're turning right turn, going to put us inbound on Zolji, so we've completed our hold and loop procedure turn. Inbound Zolji. Once we cross Zolji coming in, we'll descend to 2100. That's pre-bugged here. We'll use the VS mode and come down at 600 feet per minute, and we'll set throttle for about 1900 so we can maintain 90 knots on the descent. As we come down, we're going to go mixture full rich, and down we come. Alright, as all that goes on, some point or another they're going to clear us for, or they're going to approve a frequency change to advisory frequency. And we'll go ahead and switch over to the CTAF and we'll make a position report. We're going to tell them that we're south of the field. Once we cross Zolji on the way in, we'll be about 15 south of the field. So that'd be a good time to, if they clear us. 6278 Mike, no traffic observed between you and the airport. Switch to advisory frequency approved. Switch to advisory approved. 6378 Mike, thank you. Alright, we're all set to switch to advisory. Com 1 Mike, 123050. Zolji is in 1 mile. Once we cross Zolji, we'll start our descent. We'll make sure that's that left turn. We'll mixture rich, and then I'll make a call 15 south of the field on a straight in runway 02. Okay? Well, I hope all that feels clear. Wind's not too bad, 06 at 10, so if we're doing 02, it's going to be off about 30 degrees, 10 knots. I should expect about 5 knots crosswind right to left. And here we go, left turn. I'm going to go ahead VS mode and dial VS minus 600 and throttle back to 1900 and push mixture full rich. There you go. There you go. I don't have my checklist with me today, but if I did, I would take a look at the checklist and be like, okay, that's descent checklist. Did I miss anything? No, I did not. I hope. All right, we have LPV showing right there. That means that we have a signal that's acceptable enough to do localizer performance with vertical, and so that's good. That's the precision that we need. That'll allow us to have our 780 knot minimums, and we're on our way to CBOD and descending. At this point, I make a radio call. Bremerton traffic, Cessna Skyhawk 6378 Mike is 15 south of the field and a straight in runway 2. to full stop Bremerton. There you go. Okay, 3,500 coming down to 2,100 to cross Seabot at 2,100. That's our final approach fix. When we cross the final approach fix, we're watching for a glide path to come alive. Glide path. It's a glide slope. If it's an ILS, it's a glide path, even if it's a precision type GPS vertical navigation component. Okay, speed's pretty good, and once we cross that final approach fix, that's going to be flaps 10 for the rest of the approach. We're 7.5 miles, 7.7 miles, 7.6 miles from the final approach fix now, coming down. We're going to be there in 5 minutes. 5 minutes. And we're coming down at 600 a minute, so we'll be down to our altitude pretty darn quick. Okay, everybody feeling pretty good? All right, doing good. Look at this. We're actually kind of in a cloud. You gotta look this way to get the cloud over here. Apparently, it's really nice. But you know, it's instrument flying. We're doing good, folks. We're doing real good. Okay, now this is a great moment to ask yourself, what did I forget? So, you know what, I'll use a checklist for the Cessna 172, and we'll use this. Okay, mixture adjust. Alright, so power is desired, yeah, mixture adjust, yep, altimeter set, 3042, yep, nav GPS switch, we're on magenta needles, that's good, fuel selector valve is on both, we did that, and wing flaps is desired, we'll do it at 10 when we cross the final approach fix, cool. We've done it before. Landing checks, pilot and passenger seat back, seats and seat belts, fuel selector both, mixture rich, landing taxi lights, autopilot not off yet. We're going to go off at 1,000 feet above the airport, and KPWT's elevation is 444, so 1,500 feet. We'll go ahead and go manual. We'll call it 1,400 feet. 1,400 feet, we'll go manual. And what we'll do now is, I should have done this on our way in, my bad. We're just about to hit our approach altitude of 2,100. I'll go ahead and RPM back up to maintain that 90 knots. There you go. All right, Seabot 5 miles. So probably a good time for another call because it's about 10 miles south of the field. Permanent traffic, Skyhawk 6378 Mike's 10 miles south on a straight-in runway 2, full stop Bremerton. There you go. Okay, a little bit more power here, keep us at 90 knots. Feeling pretty good so far, 4.5 miles to go to Seabot. This part does take a minute, but it does give us a chance to brief the mist. If we screw this up or we can't see the runway or whatever, right? This is an LPV, so it's decision altitude. So if we hit 772 and cannot see the runway or otherwise are not prepared for landing, we go missed, which is climb to 1,200 straight ahead, then continue the climb, right turn to 4,000 direct Zolgi and hold. It's a simple one, very simple, but again, it's 1,200 on that runway, on that final approach course, then a right turn as we climb to 4,000 direct Zolgi. So what we're going to do as we come down, I'll go ahead and set the heading bug to the first altitude that we have to hit, which is 1,200, because we won't need the altitude bug anymore. We're going to be on a glide path approach all the way down, 3 miles to Seabot. So that 1,200 will remind me that if we have to go missed, I need to climb to 1,200 and then we'll turn around. Here's something that you should do. Set your heading bug. It's that simple. Set your heading bug, people. Alright, we're going a little fast. Keep that RPM down. Okay, fuel still looks good. Okay, you're starting to see that glide path component coming in. Okay, 2 miles. Okay, we're going a little fast. Bring that RPM down just a bit. Everybody still doing good? All right. Let's see, what else do we have? I've got 1.5 miles to go. Miss anything else on the checklist? Remember wing flaps? Autopilot comes off at 1400. Okay. And we're a little slow. More gas. More air, technically. More air. It's not more gas. People get mad at stuff like this. Okay. Down comes the diamond. Now, I'm not sure why it's gray. That I don't quite understand. I'm actually not really happy about that right now. But it is coming down, and when it gets between this dot and this center line, I'll go ahead and hit the APR. Approach mode is armed. Okay, the dot has now turned purple, whatever. And we're going to go flaps 10. Okay, and it's a slight right turn to get into the final approach course, and GP should activate. Yes, it has. It's activated, and down we come. I'm going to keep that RPM low to fly this at 90 knots. We do probably need higher RPMs because we have 10 of flaps, so we're generating more drag. Okay, we're starting to see that vertical speed come in. That vertical descent is coming in. We're descending below 2,000, and CBOT is 5 miles from the airport, so I'll go ahead and call in. Bremerton traffic, Cessna 6378 Mike's 5 miles south on a straight-in runway 2, full stop Bremerton. Alright, minimums are bugged. That's awesome. And remember, we're going to go manual at 1400. And now that we're on the final, I'm going to go ahead and set the altitude bug to 1200, because that's the first altitude in our missed approach procedures, 1200. We'll climb to 1200, then it's going to be a right turn, climb to 4000, direct Zolgy. Let's go ahead and do our flight plan and just make sure that that's plugged in if we need it. Runway 2, missed approach point. You can see right here, 1,200 feet, and direct Zolgy. Okie dokie. Looks pretty good. We're now 3 miles. Alright, we got 140 feet to go till we go manual. We're going a little fast. We'll go ahead and take that down. Okay, 100 feet until we go manual. Remember, our minimums are 772, but I've set them to 780. We'll use 780 as the effective minimum for us. I'll go ahead and poke my head up around 790 and make sure we can see the runway. Well, I'll just poke it up at 800. That's a nice even number. If we're not going to see it at 800, we're not going to see it at 780. That ain't happening. So, okay, 60 feet to go. 40. Let's go ahead and get lined up here, and we're going to continue flying this thing on instruments, but okay, but we're going to fly manually. All right, go ahead and push through. Okay, looking pretty good. Slightly left for lineup. Get the nose up just a little bit. We're a little below the glide path, so we're going to go ahead and follow the flight director. We're going to go ahead and follow the flight director up. Slight left for lineup. Following that flight director, just keeping the yellow and the purple notch, just like that. There you go. And we're going to push through. I'm going to bring that throttle down. Make sure that we're not overspeeding as we're coming in. There we go. And keeping those notches. Okay, we're 500 above the terrain. We're looking, remember, at 800. We're going to go ahead and poke our head up. 800. 800 is now. All right. Runway in sight, 2 reds over white. We're going to go ahead and bring that throttle back. Get down to 85 knots so that we can deploy 30 flaps. Okay, flaps are coming in. And we're going to transition to flying 65 knots. Point that nose. Looking at about 1,500 RPM here. You can see that right to left component of the crosswind is in there. A little bit more RPM there. Actually, it's a 16 knot headwind, so we're going to be landing with a significant headwind component. Should actually make things a little bit easier. We'll land with a lower ground speed. but it really doesn't give me much excuse as to why I've been why I was unable to maintain center line. Alright, we're past the threshold. We can go throttle idle. Look out to the end of the runway. And keep that nose up.
Stall.
And let the nose down. Maybe a little more gentle than that. Alright, we're on the ground. We're gonna just keep rolling out here. We'll make that left turn. You can see we landed with an incredibly low ground speed. There you go. That's what we're looking for. All right. Permanent traffic, Skyhawk 6370 Max, clear runway 2, taxi parking. Permanent traffic. All right. Strobes off and landing lights off and pitot heat off. Takeoff. Trim has set. Back the mixture goes. We're already squawking VFR. We're all done with our after landing checklist. Ooh-wee, boy, we got a really... Jesus, that wind is nasty. I'm doing a full crosswind deflection and getting bupkis. Let's get a little forward momentum here and try to inertia our way out of it. That's one thing that Microsoft Flight Simulator is just a little bit aggressive on, is the crosswind inputs on the ground. It's like brutal hurricane force winds. Alright, and around we come. Not perfect for reasons I have already stated. Alright, parking brake, and avionics off, and the lights off, and mixture to lean. 1, 2, 3, and that's off, and system's off, parking brake is engaged, and we are on the ground. Let's make sure that after landing checklist is done. Wing flaps up. Yep, they are. Securing airplane, electrical equipment off, parking brake set, avionics off, Mr. Idle cutoff, ignition's off and off, control light install, fuel selector valve left or right, and we won't simulate that. Alright, well, I feel pretty good about cleaning all that up. The departure procedure from Tacoma Narrows on runway 35, the ODP for IFR flight, is a little complex. But it got us all the way to Cairo, and if ATC had taken a while to get our clearance, if there'd been a lot of traffic, right, that guarantees that there's an orderly way, a predictable way, and a safe way of obstacle clearance for us to get into the en route system, the en route environment, and at our cruising altitude for the flight. So it worked out pretty well, and Cairo put us right next to Zolji, which is the start of the runway 2 RNAV approach. Something like this is probably what I'll get for my actual check ride, so the more I do this, the better I get at it, the more confident I'll feel. But it felt pretty good today. Hey, I hope everybody has a happy Thanksgiving, and whatever you choose to do to celebrate, I hope it's a great one with family and friends. Have a great time, and we'll be back with more instrument flying and hopefully a check ride date.